Morning, guys. I'm going to try something a bit different today. I've never used this before, but this is a screen-o-matic program which allows me to show you guys how to do things online, because the stuff I've got you doing over the next week is really, really important to me, and I hope it's really, really important to you, because it's about commemorating and remembering those people that fought and died in war, and making a personal connection with an individual who we may not know now, but hopefully after the work that we're going to do over the next week or so means that you kind of have a personal connection with them, with the memorial that you find their name on, and also ANZAC Day as well. And these are really important themes and ideas when we look at the New Zealand identity, which you've been so good at doing, looking at the different groups that have been coming to New Zealand and have contributed to that identity. This one is just a little special study that I've put together because it's really important at this time of the year that we remember what ANZAC Day is all about. It's a holiday for many people, but it's got far more to it. So this is the work we're going to be doing for the next week and a half. We started yesterday with me reading you a few stories and us talking about the significance of war memorials and what they mean and where they are, and we're going to kind of build on that as we go. So, watching your screen, you'll see that in your where you are now, you'll see that there's a special study link there, and I just want you to click on that, and we go through and we have this wonderful photo of these ANZAC soldiers, young guys. I'd say some of them there are probably less than 20 years of age. This guy over here looks like he'd probably be about 17, 18 years of age. And what we want to do is to kind of understand why these guys chose to leave their homes in Christchurch and in Auckland and Wellington and in the farmland areas of New Zealand and travel across the world and be part of what they called the Great War. And unfortunately, many of them never came back. So what we did, there's a bit of introduction there for you, but what we did on Wednesday is really what I want you to start with. It's really hard to get the stories of the original ANZAC soldiers who fought at Gallipoli, and I was lucky enough to find a documentary many, many years ago that actually had the interviews with the last 5 remaining Gallipoli veterans. It's very hard to hear what they say, and these are very old guys, over 100 years of age. But I want you to watch the rest of that documentary. It's really, really important. When you're doing it, I want you to be noting down some of the reasons why they chose to go to the war, why they signed up with the army. I mean, most of these guys were underage. They were 16, 17 years of age. They lied about their age to go. And have a listen to the reasons why they chose to go there. Also, I want you to look at their descriptions of the conditions of Gallipoli. What was it like when they went there? Some of these guys weren't involved in the first landing. They came in the months after, but find out a bit about what was it like there, and then use those words and go to the internet and use it as a Google search. Type in ANZAC Gallipoli or conditions of Gallipoli, and see what you can find, and see if you can find 4 or 5 photos that match up with those words that you've found. You're going to find all sorts of things, all sorts of images, some of them pretty harrowing in regards to what Gallipoli was like. And I want you to find a few that really do show those kind of things that these guys are describing. And if you're able to, print them out and stick them into your books just around those words, just so you get an idea, a feel of what it was all about. Once you've done that, and the video is just there on that link, we're then going to move into the big part of your study, and it's about remembering the ANZAC soldiers, remembering all people who fought and died in war, and the importance of the war memorials that we see around Christchurch. And we talked about that on Wednesday. One of the things I've got here is a link down through here, and if I click on that, and it shows you all the war memorials in Canterbury. In fact, there are other links to show you all the war memorials in New Zealand, but you can click on down through here and you can zoom right in, and you might be able to find a couple that are close to you. So there's the New Brighton War Memorial there. I'll click on this one here. It's the Wilding Park one. This is the one that I've shown you before. And some of these ones you don't probably know are there. You probably have no idea that they were in your local area. And it might be on one of your non-rostered days that you get on your bike and go out and find them and take a photo of you standing beside it. I mean, These things are things that we should remember. These are things that we should hold of great importance. So go and find a memorial, make a bit of a connection with that. Have a look at the names on that memorial. That map, that'll give you all those links, and that's just found up through there. And again, get out in the community and see what you can find. What I want you to do then is to pick a name from one of those memorials. Now, it might be one close to you. It might be one that's further away. It might be one that you've seen on the internet. I've given you a list of some names that you can choose if you can't get out and about. But I'd hope that you'll be able to find one somewhere. If you've got a family member that has fought in war, World War I or World War II, a great-grandfather, a grandfather, a great-uncle, then feel free to do research on them as well, because it's all about developing a connection with that person for ANZAC Day. So once you've got an idea of who you're going to do from a war memorial or from your family, the worksheet that I want you to do is found here, beginning your research. And we go down here and you'll see there's a whole lot of information that you probably want to sit down with and maybe go through with mum and dad, because often they like to be involved in these kind of things too. I want you to find out things about their background, where they enlisted, how they signed up, what regiment were they in, can you find their war record, all sorts of information about that. What was their final battle and what was happening? So the internet's a great place to find this information out. And also, I should say, some photos as well. It doesn't have to be photos of your soldier, although there are some that you can actually find. It might be photos of the place where they fought. It might be a photo of the battle that they fought in and maybe were killed in. It might be a photo of their regiment. Okay, so you can use the internet to find all that information out. Just to give you an idea of what I'm kind of looking for, I did this myself as a bit of a trial a few years ago, and I found that there was a soldier who lived just down the road from me, and his name was Robert Fleming. And I created this profile of Robert Fleming. I'll open it up now through here. It doesn't want to open. It's not good. Oh, here we go. And here it is here. This is Robert Fleming's profile. So this is a photo of Robert Fleming. I was able to actually find a photo of Robert Fleming. This is a photo of his family. Now, the reason why I chose him was that he lives at 132 Western Road, which is just down the road from where I live. And so the moment I saw this guy, I went, okay, I'm going to go and have a look at the house. And the house is still there. And I always imagine him leaving that front door and walking off to war and never coming home, because unfortunately he died at Gallipoli. All the information that I found in here, including his service record, I got online, including photos of soldiers in Cairo and even the final battle that he died in. So I was able to find all this information out. Now, it's not always specific to Robert Fleming, but it kind of is about what he would have been experiencing at the time. Now, I don't expect you to produce something quite like what I've done here, but to get an idea and to get some information down and find some stuff about your soldier would be really, really awesome. And whenever I commemorate ANZAC Day, of course, every year, I always think about this guy, and I always go down to his house. The people who live there are probably wondering who's this strange guy standing outside their house at 6 a.m., but I always go down to his house, and I always think about this guy and what he went through and what he gave for all of us. So that's an example for you. Now, once you've done that, you're going to find a name. So we talked about that already, and I've given you a few extra names. You click on this one over here. There are some more names that you might want to choose. So once you've got your name, then it's a chance for you to go out and actually find some information. Now, there are some amazing websites out there that have information about these soldiers, and I'm going to show you a few now. The first one's called Cenotaph, and Cenotaph is found at this link here. Now, Cenotaph is a New Zealand database which has all information about all soldiers who fought and died in war. So I'm going to click on Cenotaph, and I'm going to use Robert Fleming as my example. So I'm going to click on Cenotaph, and up this comes here, and it is a person search, so enter your person's name. So you might have the initial of your soldier, or you might have the first and last name. I'm just going to go Robert Fleming, like so, and then I'm going to go search. Now you got to remember, this is all the soldiers that fought and died in war. Now, then you get all these names. There are 12 records here. Now, I know based on what I saw on the memorial that I went to that Robert Fleming fought in the First World War, which was 1914 to 1918. So it's not Robert Emmett Fleming. It's not these guys in here. It's going to be Robert Fleming, Robert Fleming Hunter, or Robert John Fleming down through here, and there might be a few others. Clement Robert Edward Fleming, probably not, and Robert George Fleming through here. So I'm going to have to check out which one it might be. Now, I'm looking for someone who lived in Canterbury. So the one I'm going to look at, I'm going to go with, I'm going to take a bit of a punt. It won't be Robert Fleming Hunter, because that's his last name. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to look at Robert Fleming here. I'm going to try this guy out here. He was in the New Zealand Army in 19... here it is, loading up, and we get information through here. So he fought in the First World War. There's information here. This is actually the roll call, which kind of says a wee bit about him. So I'll click on that, and you might have to zoom in there and scroll down and find his name, and that'll give you an idea of who he was. So if I just zoom in there for a minute, and I go down and I find it, there's a Robert Fleming who was a bushman. However, it looks like his mum, he wasn't in Canterbury, so I'm going to say it's probably not him. I'm going to close that one, whoops, and I'm going to go back again to my search again. You don't have to do this, you just close your tab. I'm going to go Robert Fleming again and search. And here we go again, back to it. Right, so the next one, so it wasn't this guy here. I'm going to go down to the next one. I'm looking for World War I, World War II. Now, he died in World War I, I know that, so it's not going to be that guy there. So Robert George Fleming, let's try this one out. Okay, so Robert George Fleming, World War I. Yep, let's scroll down this time. I won't go to the gallery over here. I'll look at his identity. So, okay, he's male. I've got his service number there. There's some images. So there's an image of him here. Let me just go to that. So this is an image of him that's been done. That's pretty cool. It's a drawing of Robert Fleming at lights out. Let's see what else we can find there. Whoop, we've gone back again. Let me see if I can find another one. Robert George Fleming, here we go. So let's click on Robert George Fleming. And we're looking for someone in the Canterbury region, someone who was in the Canterbury Mounted Rifles or in the Canterbury Brigade. So there's that image again. Okay, so this is one who was in Auckland. He embarked from Auckland, training. He was a gunner, and he got off in looks like there in Liverpool. So probably not Robert George Fleming. Let's go back one and see if we can find someone else. So it's not Robert George Fleming. Looking for another one, so it's not him. Robert Anthony Fleming. Let's try this one down here. World War I again, so he might be a good fit. And this is what you've got to do with research. Sometimes you've got to keep on going down different rabbit holes. Here we go. So this guy was in the Canterbury Mounted Rifles. So this makes sense. This looks like we might have found our gentleman. Now, here we go. And of course, I've got a whole lot of photos in here too, family photos, even his gravestone where he finally is resting now. So in here, we've got some stuff about his birth date. We know he actually lived in Rangiora himself, and there's a family farm. And there's all sorts of information in here about Robert Fleming. And so straight away, we've got some stuff that we can start researching. He was in the Gallipoli campaign. We can see that he won a medal. He was mentioned in dispatches, and we click on that, we'll probably get what that actually was. Let's have a look and see what it says. Oh, I'm not going to go there. Looks like there might be a bit of detail, but you'll be able to track that kind of stuff down. I'll just go back. But there'll be information there about him mentioning dispatches, which means he's been involved in something pretty significant. He's a farmer.